Hello snowboarders of the internet, I am your host TC and today I will be reviewing the Bataleon Atom. I rode these bindings at Copper Mountain where it was a partially cloudy, breezy day, so it just kept blowing in. There was nice perfect groomers with minimal push piles and there were quite a few people out, so there was a lot of jerry dodging going on that day. I used my Jones Aviator board and Ride Fuse boots. This is one of the most adjustable bindings on the market where you have a lot to work with here. So on the straps here, just quick easy flip tab, so on the go you can adjust them. If you realize you get to the top it's too big, make it smaller, no problem, toolless adjustment. When you get to centering your binding, you have 2 screws in the back here and then one underneath the binding as well, so that'll be able to slide that heel cup forward and back instead of having to use the disc, where you do have a medium sized disc, so you can still micro adjust your stance side to side there and get it right dialed in. Now when it comes to the ankle strap here, you can actually take this ladder off and put it on this binding and vice versa. So it'll actually make it so if you have a smaller boot footprint or just a smaller boot in general, or you get last click syndrome, you can really ratchet this down without bottoming it out. I had that problem. We didn't discover until after the fact you can do that. So just keep that in mind. When it comes to the forward lean adjustment, it is going to be on the inside, these inside screws here, right there. You're going to actually unscrew those and push the Highback down if you want more forward lean, or pull it up if you want less forward lean. It's not going to be able to do on the go, but make sure you set that before you ride. And on the toes, just to cap everything off, you do have a push pin system, so if you do want to ride it over the toe, you can extend it. If you ride it on top of the toe, just push down, pull back, and pull back up, and that'll set it right on the top of your toe for you. These are some of my favorite straps out on the market, where normally when you get a molded strap, you have to sacrifice a little bit of comfort for all of that response that you're looking for. This is not the case on these. This ankle strap is going to be nice and big, where it really expands and pulls out any pressure points that you have and really molds around your boot really well. What I will say, if you are getting pressure like on your instep or anything like that, taking this whole strap off, ladder, connector and all, flipping it over, putting it on the other foot, that'll give you a little bit higher of a pressure zone on your ankle rather than on the top of your foot, but it is based off of your personal preference and how your boot sits in the binding. Now when you're getting to the toe straps, they are extremely comfortable. They will stretch a lot, so that's why I have mine so far down here. When I rode them, I pretty much had to make them as small as they go just because they keep stretching, really disperses all of that pressure out on your foot. Also, I didn't feel any pressure points when it came to the toe area where it connects. Sometimes you'll just get that last click syndrome, keep going until it's pressing into the side of your boot. This did not do that. These ratchets fit in your hand extremely well, where nice and big on the ankle and the toe. The one problem I did have with them was when it was releasing and I had my last click syndrome on, it does initially take a little bit more to get it to release. Once you get that initial release on, it'll just pop right off, no problem there. But if you do notice, I did get a little wear on the ladders here from the ratchets. That's totally my fault, where I kept trying to go on it. It maxed out, there was no more to go, and I was like, it can get one more. It couldn't. There was nothing to go there for it. They have a little bit of play in them, but really nothing that you're gonna worry about. You don't hear it when you're riding. You don't feel them clanking around or anything like that. A very solid ratchet. If you're enjoying the video, make sure you hit subscribe, click that bell, turn on those notifications so you don't miss any other videos we have coming out. This Highback, or pretty much what there is of a Highback, is actually very stable and very stiff, where you really put some work into it and it doesn't want to flex that much. That being said, when you are in the air trying to tweak a method or a grab or something like that, it will tweak a little bit for you, but it wants to return back to that same zone. Now you don't have a standard flip tab for the Highback adjustment. It is those screws on the side here, so just keep that in mind, where before, if you do like a little bit of forward lean, make sure you adjust that before you go out and take the hill, otherwise you're going to be shit out of luck. This binding is definitely on the stiff side, I would say, where it's not gonna be the stiffest thing out there made out of pure carbon or pure aluminum, but for what it is a very stiff binding, where you do get some outside play here just because it's not a full wrap, where on the inside it still allows you to drive all of that power from the inside of your board. The Highback and the straps go right along with that, where you're not losing any transition or any power from it, where heel to toe, this Highback is gonna keep you there. Go heel to toe exactly when you want to. The straps aren't gonna give you a lot of side or lateral play to it, where they are going to just lock you in, allow a little bit to the outside, but really help drive that power on the inside. These bindings ride like an air suspension for your car. You'll go over bumps, chatter, chunder, all that stuff, and it just goes right through it. You barely even notice that it was there. You have quite a bit of foam on the bottom here that is a little bit softer of a durometer, it feels like, so it just absorbs all of those micro vibrations and everything like that. Same with the footbed on top, a little bit firmer, but still really helps you drive all of that power into the board. With the firmer footbed, it does help dissipate all of that power coming from the board, so you don't feel it quite as much. Now, when you're going heel toe, it definitely goes right there for you, where you're not even thinking about pretty much turning or anything. And it feels like it almost makes your board a little bit stiffer, where you're so locked into this binding that when you go to transition and shift your weight forward or backwards on it, it just stays right with you. It doesn't allow any or very minimal side-to-side play. It just locks you right in and honestly makes your board feel stiffer. Rider in mind, this is definitely for that advanced rider that's really looking to get everything out of their board. They're probably either ripping groomers a lot, carving super hard, or they're going to like that big jump line or the half pipe, where every bit of energy they put into their board, they want to get it right back out of it. If you want to support us further, head on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP. Sure, I could explain it here, but we have a great video over there getting into it really in depth. I really did like this binding. It is a little bit too stiff for it to be my daily driver, but I mean, it was super damp, super comfortable. I wish I would have known about the ladder strap before I rode it, just so I could have really locked these things in like I did on the Astros. But overall, it is a great binding. If you really like carving or just going super fast, this would be a great binding for you. Comparable bindings: the Jones Apollo, the Ride A10, and the Union Atlas Pro. Did you enjoy this binding review? Good. Why don't you go check out some of the other reviews we have for the recommended bindings.